So we know that about him, but we don't know anything else. Okay, so this is the first important thing. This is technically chapter 18. Yeah, okay. How did it go? Arthur's mom asked cheerfully when he got home, as if he'd been out doing something fun instead of serving 4 hours of his probation sentence. Was Mr. Hampton nice to you? Sure. Arthur shoved his coat into the back of the closet, hoping his mom didn't notice anything different about it, hoping it didn't smell. What did you do today? Just moved some furniture and helped find some Christmas tree lights. Nothing big, he said, keeping his eyes down as he tugged off his boots. Too late, he realized the mistake he'd made. His mom smiled and wiped her hands on her apron. Good, let's get our Christmas tree down from the attic now that you're back. So Arthur had no choice, really. He couldn't exactly tell his mom he was still hoping his dad's accident had been a bad dream, and maybe, if they waited, he would be there to put up the tree for them. That would sound crazy and sad, and it would probably make her cry. Sure, he said, keeping his voice as normal as he could. No problem, Mom, I can do it. I'll help you pull down the steps. After the two of them had unfolded the narrow ladder that led to the attic, Arthur climbed up while his mom stood at the bottom with a pencil-sized flashlight giving completely unhelpful advice. So he's up in the attic. I don't know if you've ever seen an attic like this, but you pull it down from the ceiling and there's stairs. So she's at the bottom with a flashlight, kind of helping him see where he's going, and he's trying to get the tree down.
How did he bring up the flashlight?
I don't know. That's a good question. Be careful, she kept saying. Your dad would always hit his head going up. And watch out for nails on the floor. You don't want to get a rusty nail in your hand. There should be a light once you get up there. Look for the chain. There should be a chain to pull. But watch out for your head. You don't want to hit your head. I got it, Mom, he yelled, probably louder than he needed to. A lump rose in Arthur's throat as he pulled on the light and saw all the stuff from their past piled in the attic. The cans of paint his dad had used when Arthur's mom wanted the kitchen painted a bright banana yellow. Racks of clothes, boxes of Arthur's old Matchbox cars and racetracks. Arthur remembered how his dad used to spend hours with him when he was a little kid playing with those cars, putting the black plastic tracks all over the living room, figure eights around the coffee table, ramps on the sofa cushions. Top of 78. Did that kind of thing count at all in heaven? Would God care that his dad had been perfect at playing Matchbox cars, even if he'd had a lot of other faults? And then Arthur got mad at himself for wondering about such stupid things. Are you doing okay up there? His mother's worried voice drifted up from below. The little dot from her flashlight flitted on the ceiling above him like an irritating bug. Can you see the tree box and the lights? Arthur dragged his attention back to looking for the tree. He finally spotted the box in the far corner of the attic. It said Ultra Real Artificial Tree and had a cartoon of a dancing elf on it. Arthur resisted the urge to kick the box. Instead, he hollered, "Got it, Mom," and began pushing the big box toward the steps. He had no clue how he would get it down the narrow stairs. Probably his dad had carried it on his shoulder like a real man. Arthur knew there was no way he could do the same thing. His shoulder muscles were about as real as the ultra real Christmas tree. He decided to try sliding it down the stairs. He told his mom to stay out of the way. One step at a time, with his arms grasping the slick sides of the box, Arthur made his way backward down the narrow, creaky steps. Careful, honey, his mom kept repeating, as if this would keep him safe. What you're doing looks very dangerous. Of course this is dangerous, Arthur wanted to yell at his mother. That's why Dad should be here doing it and not me. Top of 79. His father had always loved doing dangerous things, usually stuff he didn't tell Arthur's mom about until later. Drag racing with his buddies when he was younger, carving the curves with his motorcycle, doing spin-outs in parking lots, staying out late, and drinking too much sometimes. Arthur's mom often said Tom Owen's biggest problem was that he never grew up. Once they got the box safely into the living room, Arthur's mom offered to help put the tree together, but he didn't think he could stand having her around fussing about every little thing. Plus, he wanted to be sad and angry at his dad by himself. That's okay, he told her impatiently. I can do it. You sure you don't need any help? His mom looked like she was getting upset. All right, Arthur sighed. All right, okay. Wait, she stuck her finger in the air. I'll go and make us some hot chocolate before we start. Neither one of them mentioned how Arthur's dad had often put up the tree while polishing off a 6-pack of beer. While his mother was in the kitchen, Arthur started pulling the fake branches out of the box. The pile looked like a mangled tree puzzle when he was finished. Strands of old tinsel stuck to his shirt. When she returned with the mugs of hot chocolate, his mom burst out laughing. Maybe we should decorate you instead. Tappa's 80. Not really amused, Arthur brushed himself off. Where do you want to start? I'm not sure. His mom stared at the project in front of them, looking lost. Has anyone put together like a fake Christmas tree before?
Yeah.
It's really weird. So there's like all these parts. Yeah, there's all these parts, and you got to put them together. So like the branches come off. There's like a middle part. So it's kind of
Wouldn't it be easier just to cut one down yourself?
probably, but
No, but then you have to water it.
then you have to pay for it every year. I think the idea is that you don't have to pay for it every year. They're very expensive. And it depends on where you live. Like my family lives in Florida now. So they're like $300 in Florida. So my family for the first time ever got a fake tree because they don't want to spend like $300 every year. Right. But here they could be like free or like up to like $80.
Yeah, we just cut her off.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. All right, we're at the top of 80. They decided to begin at the bottom. Arthur's mom untangled the musty attic-smelling branches while Arthur kneeled on the floor and stuck them in the tiny holes of the fake tree stand. After he'd put about 8 branches on one side, the whole tree fell over. An explosion of needles and branches landed on Arthur's back. He swore under his breath. His mom laughed. In fact, she collapsed on the sofa, laughing so hard, Arthur worried that maybe she was going nuts. He couldn't remember the last time he'd heard his mother laugh like that. She sounded like a crazed hyena. Stop it, Mom, or I'm quitting, Arthur said, feeling more teed off the longer she went on. The damn tree had fallen on him. His dad was dead, and his mom was completely losing it. Oh, I'm not laughing at you, hon. I'm just laughing at... His mom sat on the edge of the sofa and tried to catch her breath. I don't know. I guess at how everything in our life keeps falling apart no matter what we do. Then to top it off, even our sad old Christmas tree goes and falls over on us. Not funny, Arthur said in an irritated voice, and it fell on me, not you. Kicked out by a Christmas tree, his mom said, with just a hint of a smile. Stop it. KO'd by Christmas. Ho, 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 she added. And then she dissolved into laughter again, and Arthur found himself unable to keep from laughing too. He didn't even know why. There was a huge lump in his throat, and he wanted to cry or hit something. And yet here he was, laughing with his mom. It was official. They really had lost their minds. Okay, we have to get the tree up before your sister comes back from her friend's house, his mom announced, trying to regain her composure. She pushed up the sleeves of her blouse and took charge. You hold the tree, Artie, and I'll stick the branches in. Excuse me. With the two of them working, the tree project went faster. It wasn't until they were halfway finished that Arthur and his mom realized the branches were different sizes. Smaller ones for the top and larger ones for the bottom. Well, how are we supposed to know that? Arthur's mom looked annoyed as she stared at the half-built tree, hands on her hips. Once he stepped back, Arthur could see that their Christmas tree did have a funny shape, more like a green hedge than a tree. Well, who cares, his mom snapped. We are just going to stick these branches wherever we damn well please. Arthur wisely kept quiet while his mom finished jamming the branches into the trunk, mumbling to herself. And then so we've got some passage of time on the top of 82. The lights and decorations were the final steps. Arthur's dad had always been a perfectionist about the lights. Maybe it came from being a mechanic. But he'd been fanatical about making sure every wire was hidden, every bulb tucked into the branches. There couldn't be any dark spots, black holes, his father had called them. Arthur and his mom were not perfectionists. They strung the lights around the tree in less than 5 minutes. There were a lot of dark spots and black holes, but none of that seemed to matter to Barbara. She got home as Arthur and his mother were cleaning up. They had just finished putting the extra tree branches, I'm like having trouble with words today, putting the extra tree branches into the box, and were picking up all the scraps from the carpet when Barbara came barreling through the front door with the usual armload of dolls she'd carried to her friends' houses. "It's our Christmas tree." Her eyes widened in surprise at the sight of the sparkling tree, hedge, in the living room. "Your brother put it up," their mom said proudly. "We still have to decorate it." "Thank you, Arthur." Dropping her dolls in the middle of the hallway, Barbara raced across the living room. Her blonde head dove into Arthur's stomach. He didn't want to look like a wimp, but she had a pretty hard head for a 7-year-old. He tried not to wince. "It looks like magic with all its lights," his sister said, clasping her hands and stepping back to stare at the tree again, as if she had never seen one before. "Let's turn everything off so we can see it better." Arthur's mom switched off the living room lamps. As they stood there in the darkness with little sunbursts of light from the tree shining on their clothes and faces, Arthur felt strangely hopeful for a minute. It was as if their old life had briefly flickered back on like an old movie, as if none of the bad things had happened to them yet. Barbara, who could be a real pain in the butt sometimes, had this sweet, angelic expression on her face. His mom was smiling and not crying, and the tree didn't look half as bad as he thought it would. It had to be the lights, he decided. That's what made the difference. Without realizing it, Arthur had discovered the first important thing. All right, we're going to stop there. Sweet.